Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Thomas Partey is leaving Arsenal. He's leaving the Emirates Stadium this season. Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that in the next 2 months, Thomas Partey will not be an Arsenal player. Romeo Lavia is the player that will replace him, not Moises Caicedo, but it will be Romeo Lavia. Arsenal have already sidelined, and talks have taken place with Thomas Partey about his potential exit, and Arsenal have also held talks with the agents of Romeo Lavia about joining Arsenal. Hit the like button, subscribe. We've talked about this before on the channel. It's a massive update. It's a huge update in terms of our progress going forward, in terms of Arsenal's squad as we enter the UEFA Champions League, but then also in terms of our squad as we try to challenge for our real Premier League title since 20 years ago. Is this the right move that Arsenal have gone for? Is this the right call that Mikel Arteta has actually made? Thomas Partey, concrete chances he leaves Arsenal this summer. Concrete chances Romeo Lavia is the replacement. I want this video with 1,000 likes. I want your opinions. I want your thoughts. It's only easy. If you want Thomas Partey in, just say yes, he stays. If you want Thomas Partey out, just say no, out. I mean, as simple as that. Yes, he stays, or no, he should be sold, or no, out. As simple as that. I just want to see, where do we stand with Thomas Partey? Now, the reason, and I think many of you will ask me here this, the same reason I've given you in the last 72 hours, or around the last 60 hours, it's the same reason that is happening. Mikel Arteta is frustrated with Thomas Partey's performances at the end of the season, and he feels he wants another player in that midfield. He wants someone who can give him something more reliable. He wants a player who is more durable. He wants a player who can actually rely on. So it looks like Thomas Partey's reliability is a question, is a big problem. None of us thought he would leave Arsenal because of his injuries and maybe that kind of drop-off at the end of the season. But it looks like Mikel Arteta is meaning big business. Let's hit the like button. Let's get this one to 500, and let's have the comments in the comment box below. Right. So let's dive into the update from Fabrizio Romano. He says that he understands there is concrete chances for Thomas Partey to leave Arsenal in this summer. Clubs are interested, and there have been discussions about his exit with AFC already. Contract expiring in 2025, and no talks to extend as of today. Arsenal's priority remains Declan Rice in this summer. Right, so let's talk Thomas Partey, guys. Let's talk Thomas Partey, because again, we are going to talk about Caicedo and Moises Lavia, and Romeo Lavia. The debate is back on the table. If you're losing a player the caliber of Thomas Partey, I don't see how a 19-year-old Romeo Lavia is the best replacement. I don't see, if we're going into the dangerous waters of the UCL, if you're going into the very hostile waters of challenging for the Premier League as concrete contenders now. Look, many of the clubs we beat last campaign were ill-prepared, let's be honest, but most of the clubs we beat last campaign never took us seriously. Most of the clubs we beat during the opening days of the campaign, well, thought, yeah, Arsenal will be good this season, but they're the normal Arsenal. You can grab a point against them. And we massively overwhelmed them with the ambition, with the quality, and the way we played football last campaign. But next season it's going to be very different. Clubs will look at us as a team last campaign that led the UEFA, that led the Premier League table for 248 days. They will look at us as a club that definitely wants to be somewhere in the UCL. They'll look at us as a club that are potential title contenders if Manchester City draw points. So they will prepare for us in a different way. They will be a little bit more cautious as they play against Arsenal. Losing Thomas Partey is the worst way to prepare for that. Losing a player, for me, in that midfield, not most reliable, because I think Odegaard has been the most reliable player for Arsenal in terms of performance, in terms of availability last campaign. I think Xhaka has been very durable. Yes, he did pick up those few knocks and maybe burnout, but he kept on playing every single game. And credit to Granit Xhaka. But Thomas Partey, and what he offers to Arsenal. We've always talked about this, on the podcast many times, many times, that what Partey gives Arsenal, not so many players give it to us. And that's what we've always said, that instead of selling him, instead of losing him, what you've got to do is bring in a player like Romeo Lavia, 19 years of age. He's going to be excited by the project at Arsenal, excited by playing in the UEFA Champions League. He's signing for a club that are potential Premier League contenders. And of course, we will win silverware, big silverware in the next 5 years. I think that's very easy to sell to a player like Romeo Lavia. But losing Thomas Partey is the worst idea I've had of this football club in the last 20 years. That is the worst idea. It is worse than signing Danny Welbeck from Manchester United. It is worse than signing, I think Sylvester from Manchester United. It is also worse than signing any of those bad signings and spending 60 million and 70 million on Nicola Pepe. It is worse than that. I mean, a player who's come to the Premier League, established himself as one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, established himself as one of the key pillars of that team. When you lose him, I don't care how Romeo Lavia does. I don't care how Romeo Lavia will perform. In my opinion, it's such a bad move. It's such a very bad move. Like, I can't explain how I feel when we say Thomas Partey will be playing at Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, Napoli, or any other club next season. It just baffles me. It really baffles me. It doesn't make any sense. And I think it's very unfair that's gonna happen. And I tell you what, this is gonna happen. Fabrizio Romano does not report something like this because he's come out of the blue to think about it. There is concrete chances that he's gonna leave. And for how much? Maybe 40 million, maybe 50 million. He's 29, maybe he's turned 30. I think he's turned 29 actually. So he's turned 29. I think there is a midfielder there for us to be talking about 50 million. There is a midfielder for us to be talking about 45, in excess of 45 million. And if we get in excess of 45 million and we run away with it, sign in Kai Havertz and Declan Rice, that will be a very good window in terms of incomings. But what will kill our midfield is the absence of Thomas Partey. For me, I've not seen so many players, unless you're going to go and sign Casemiro at Manchester United, which is not going to happen. Unless you're bringing in Orient Chouameni, which is not going to happen. There are not so many players that you get in the caliber of Thomas Partey. Europa League winner with Atletico Madrid, pedigree both on Europe and in the Premier League now. He's got the experience. He's now 29, and he knows. And for me, he's one of those players, and this is why I don't understand. If we are looking to propel ourselves forward, and the players that are giving us that velocity, the players that have the massive weight to give us that constant velocity, and we're selling them, it still doesn't make any sense for me, because Partey has seen us miss out on the top four against Tottenham Hotspur. He's seen us miss out on the title against Manchester City. I think he's one of the players who has lived the experience, and he knows what to do. He literally knows what to do. He literally knows what can take us over the line. The problem with Thomas Partey is the number of games that he's playing in a campaign. And for me, if Partey can play 25 games, 10 games to be played by Romeo Lavia, it simply makes a lot of sense. Really, it does. Now, let's talk about the replacement of Thomas Partey. If Mikel wants Thomas Partey to be replaced by Declan Rice, I think it's a good decision. I don't think Declan Rice is a bad player. And of course, if you've seen my content and watched my videos for a long time, I've always believed that Declan Rice is better at CDM, like Thomas Partey, rather than at central attacking midfield, all right? Rather than, playing him in that pocket of space where, Xhaka has been loitering this season, rather than playing him in that pocket of space where Odegaard has been loitering this season. I think he's much better at the best of midfield. He's huge, he's tall, he's physical, his passing is absolutely, mind-blowing. Look, probably he's not at the levels of Thomas Partey in terms of, sitting in that, pivot. and making it as concrete as you want it to be. But progressively, he's a much better player than Thomas Partey. He will drive the ball. I think his progressive carries are also, mind-blowing for a CDM. So I think it's a very, very nice shout. But I don't think that is what we are looking at. I think what Arteta is looking at is to bring in Romeo Lavia, place Kai Havertz ahead of him, and place Martin Odegaard ahead of him. I don't think that's a midfield that beats Liverpool away at Anfield. I don't think that's a midfield that beats Manchester City home and away. I don't think that's a midfield that beats Manchester United, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and Mason Mount. I don't think that's a midfield that goes to Tottenham Hotspur away and walk away with a clean sheet like we did last campaign. We've forgotten totally how important it was for us to get such results with Thomas Partey in the team. I think for me, the Thomas Partey performances against Tottenham Hotspur home and away last campaign were phenomenal. His performances against Chelsea in the first leg and second leg were absolutely phenomenal. And his performances in the first part of the season, where we won games against Brighton away, were absolutely phenomenal. And for us, and we've just forgotten, and we have just forgotten, the only way I would accept that Arsenal should lose the Partey, if you told me we are signing Moises Caicedo, 22 years of age, best young defensive midfielder in the Premier League at the moment. He's going to be the next N'Golo Conte. He's going to be the next Makelele. He's going to be the next Alex Song-Bilong. He might be the next Robbie Keane. He might be the next Patrick Vieira. If you told me that is what we are looking at, that's what we're going to do, I might go, you know what? With 8 years ahead of him, and with the level at his playing, at which he's playing, it's a nice shout, right? But when at the same time we've withdrawn our interest from Moises Caicedo for no concrete reason, by the way, because we do not know that they will want in excess of 80. Fabrizio said they will want around 70 to 80 million, nothing more than that, right? As long as the money is right, they will sell Caicedo. So I'm looking at this in one way, and it now makes a lot of sense. I think Arsenal really thought about selling Thomas Partey in January, because the signing of Moises Caicedo for 70 million literally meant that when he comes in, because a 70 million pound player doesn't sit on the bench for a club like Arsenal. We do not have that luxury. We don't enjoy that luxury. And that's why I think will start. That's why I think Rice is a starter, and Moises Caicedo would have been a starter as well. So if we had brought in Moises Caicedo in January or even in this summer, and Mikel decided that Caicedo has done very well, Caicedo has done a much better job as compared to Thomas Partey, and therefore he will lose Thomas Partey and keep Moises Caicedo, that would make a lot of sense for me. I would understand that, because the level at which Caicedo plays is mind-blowing, especially for his age. But Romeo Lavia, despite the fact that he has had a very good season, despite the fact that he's had a very good campaign, he's still 19 years of age, right? And I'm not saying 19 years he can't, come into this Arsenal side and, be absolutely, mind-blowing, because Jude Bellingham has been at Dortmund and definitely will be at Madrid. But what I'm saying is we have gone past all the good options and we have chosen the most risky step. It might work out, it might pay off, but there is no world in the world where Caicedo is not better than Romeo Lavia. Right? There is no way. There is no way you can convince an Arsenal player, an Arsenal fan, that we have signed Romeo Lavia over Caicedo and Partey, and therefore we've become stronger. That doesn't make us stronger. Now, I've seen such Tavaleri as well, saying that Lokonga will be leaving Arsenal this summer. That is concrete as well. I don't have a problem with Albert Sambi Lokonga leaving. Burnley want him. They've worked with him. Company has worked with him at Anderlecht. So, yeah, that is a concrete option. I understand. But what I don't understand is why Arsenal have decided to let go of a player whose blood, veins, muscles, heart, feet, and skin are Arsenal. Trust me, if there is a player who plays for Arsenal out of passion, out of the feeling that I love this club, is Thomas Partey. And I'll never understand. I'll really, really never understand this decision unless we make a mind-blowing move, maybe for a player who will give us, I don't know what kind of levels is, a player might be, performing at for me to believe he's much better than Thomas Partey. But anyway, that's it. Partey will be leaving Arsenal this summer. That's confirmed. It's concrete. Romeo Lavia is the player that Arsenal will be trying to sign. We have had talks with Romeo Lavia, and we also have a very, very good relationship with his agent, Man United and Chelsea also there. But it is still believed that Arsenal do have an age. And of course, the release clause or buyback clause that Manchester City have on the player does not activate until 2024. So still, that is a very, very concrete, option. Anyway, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's going to happen out of there. Let's have your thoughts. Let's have your comments in the comment box below. Partey stays, type yes. Partey stays, type no if you want him to go. Okay, that's the question. Should Partey stay at Arsenal? Yes or no? As simple as that. Let's see how many people feel good player, keep him, or poor performances, let him go. I'll see you right in the next one.